Alright everybody, welcome back to another video. So today I'm doing a project on my 2013 CRV, and this is applicable to all Generation 4 CRVs from 2012 to 2016. So the steering wheel on my CRV is kind of worn out a little bit. Probably harder to see in the video, but there's areas where the vinyl in the steering wheel is starting to come off from where it's been gripped over the years, and it just doesn't have a smooth finish anymore. So I figured now is a good time to upgrade to a leather steering wheel. So obviously I have an LX model and base model, and it just came with this vinyl steering wheel. At first I thought I would just replace it with another vinyl steering wheel because I don't really need a leather steering wheel. But actually they're back ordered. You can't even get the regular ones anymore. But I was able to get a genuine leather steering wheel from Honda. They're actually not that bad. It was under $100 for the steering wheel. It does not come with any of the buttons, the airbag, or anything like that. It's just the grip itself, and then we'll be transferring everything over. So today I'm going to show you how you do that. So the first step on the side of the steering wheel here. So there are these holes here on the side. I have a T30 Torx bit here. What I'm going to do is take out both of these T30 Torx bits. There's one on this side, and there's one over here on this side of the steering wheel. Alright, so once we have those up, I'm going to turn the wheel like this, and it kind of locks in place there. And then under here, there's this little access panel. Let's take a little flathead screwdriver, pop this cover off like that. This reveals the connectors that we need to undo. The ones for the horn, single connector, and then this yellow one's for the airbag. Right, so to get this out, stick my finger in there. I'm gonna push this connector out like this. For that. All right, so to get the airbag connector part, we're just gonna pull up on this black piece, pull it apart like that. Disconnect the horn one to release it from its mount also. So the horn one's a little bit easier. It's just these little tabs. Push and it'll pull right apart. I couldn't show you that I needed both hands, but you just push this little tab right here in the middle and pull that apart. So now you'll see that the airbag comes right out. Just go ahead and set it somewhere safe. Alright, so now there's a wiring connector inside for all of our switches and stuff. So there's just a little tab right there we're going to push to unplug that. It disconnects it from the clock ring of the car. Then we're going to take this bolt out. Alright, so before I take this bolt off, because the steering wheel basically will just going to fall off, Honda uses a spline shaft for their steering wheel. And the wheel can go on in any direction basically, versus like a Ford where it has a keyed shaft where it can only go on one way. So if you pay attention on the wheel here, there's a little mark which indicates center. And on the clock spring, there's a little arrow, it's hard to see, that indicates center. So basically, when we loosen this up, we're going to pop the wheel off. I'm going to go ahead and make a little mark on the shaft before I actually pull the wheel off that is in line with this. So that when we put our new wheel on, it will also have this mark. We'll just align that with the shaft and the clock spring, and everything has to be perfectly lined up. As long as you don't touch anything, it should be. But that's how we will make sure our steering wheel stays centered. Alright, so got half-inch setup going here. This is a 14mm bolt right here. What you do is just go hold it. Once you break it loose, come off by hand. Alright. Okay, so I lied. I do not need to make a mark on the shaft because there already is a little line on the center of the shaft. So let's see if a lot of times you don't need a puller. Yep, don't need a puller. Just kind of tap it a few times. we want to keep our clock spring straight up and down. You can see there's that little mark on the shaft, which lines up with the mark on the wheel. So now I'm going to take this inside now and get this laid out next to the new wheel and show you what all we have to do to transfer everything over. It's basically just got to remove all this plastic and there's some stuff that's screwed in and the buttons and the wiring, and we want to make it look just like this. All right, so here's our new wheel. I'm just going to leave it covered for now, but that's how it looks. So it's got that line that we're going to need. Here's the part number. Order from any Honda dealer or order it online if you want to save money. So again, now we need to start the process of switching stuff over. So I know we've got plastic trim on the front here. A lot of this just pops off, but if you look, you can see here's a couple screws that we're going to start by taking those out. Screws. There's a couple screws in the top here. Down here. Alright, so there's just some little tabs that hold this plastic on. Let's see. I've got the plastic completely released off the back now. You see the way the wiring runs through it, and each switch is kind of fastened in. Remove that. Then we've got a screw here and a screw here holding the switches in, it looks like. Yep. Remember where these go. You can see on the front we've got this whole assembly loose. We've got the wiring structure here that needs to come out. A ground wire, and it secures it in here. Pop these little tabs like this. These ones up here. It's kind of what holds that whole wiring assembly in place. That. Okay, now before I get too far, I'm gonna go ahead and put this back in here. So I kind of remember what I'm doing. So I obviously need to get these top switches off. They just pull out. That. Go ahead and transfer them over here. So when you put them on, you can see the leather's kind of just sitting there. You want to tuck the leather behind the switch. Now we can get this set in place. Make sure this leather's folded under before you push the switch in. It's nice and tight. So before we put the back on, we need to put these screws in for the switches. Just gotta line up all the little holes. All right, so we're back in the car. Make sure we hold that steady there. So make sure that, again, we get all of our little triangle and our notch on our wheel lined up with the notch on the shaft. And it is, we want the airbag wire to come through the top here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get the screw put in. This bolt, I'm going to go ahead and really tighten this down so it's holding our steering wheel on the car, obviously. So everything's kind of the reverse or removal. Pretty simple. Get our switches plugged in. I'm going to get this airbag wiring routed appropriately. If I turn it up here again, you can kind of see. Get this kind of set in place here. Put this wiring through the holes. Alright, so the last step is to put our T30 Torx bits bolts back in to retain the airbag. Might help if you shine a light in there so you can see. Get that started. Just get this side started. Alright, so now we need to go reconnect our battery. And we'll try everything out, make sure everything works. Alright, so go ahead and take off the plastic. Reveal our brand new leather steering wheel. Alright. Make sure our horn works. Go ahead and make sure volume controls and everything work. So far everything's good. Cruise works. Alright, so that's all there is to it. To upgrade your Gen 4 2012 to 2016 CRV to a leather steering wheel, I'll leave the part number below in the description. If you have any questions, be sure to leave a comment. If the video helped you out, be sure to like it, subscribe for more, and until next time, we'll see you later.